Hey everyone, it's week 11, and we'll be talking about Neoclassicism, Romanticism, and Realism. Let's begin. Okay, let's talk about Neoclassicism first. So, Neoclassicism lasted from 1750 to 1850 CE, and it started in Rome following the discovery of Pompeii and Herculaneum. So, Pompeii and Herculaneum, both cities, were buried when Mount Vesuvius erupted. All the ash kind of froze everything in time. People didn't even have time to run. It just kind of buried everything and froze everything, and everything was very well preserved. So it's excavated and it was studied in depth, and students from all over Europe used to go to Pompeii and Herculaneum to study archaeology and art. And this study abroad program was called the Grand Tour, and a lot of students who left from Rome, they went to Pompeii and Herculaneum, and then they brought back their knowledge to Rome. And so they applied that knowledge to basically bring back classicism, Greek and Roman classicism, hence the name Neoclassicism, New Classicism. And it coincided with the 18th century Age of Enlightenment. The Age of Enlightenment, basically, it was when there were developments in philosophy, and a lot of famous philosophers that we still study, they were all from the Age of Enlightenment. And it began in 1760 in opposition to the excesses of then dominant Rococo. So Rococo was frowned upon by a lot of people during that time because, well, it was tacky, and a lot of people thought it was ugly, and it was also French propaganda. It didn't represent everyone. It just represented the aristocrats and the nobles and their fancy lunch with ham. So Neoclassicism is a revival of the styles and spirit of classical antiquity, which is ancient Greece and Rome. So they decided to bring all of that back. Okay, so here are some examples of Neoclassicism. The piece on the left is Napoleon crossing the Alps, and the piece on the right is Oath of the Horatii. Both are by Jacques-Louis David. David is probably the most well-known neoclassicist painter, and in this painting, this is Napoleon, and he's crossing the Alps on a horse. Originally, though, Napoleon did not cross the Alps in a horse. He actually crossed the Alps in a mule. But history is written by the victor, and what's happening in this painting is, well, they substituted the mule for a stallion, because mules are, well, not that grand, right? So the artist took artistic liberty to basically substitute the mule for a stallion, and it looks very majestic. Here, this person is taking an oath for Rome. This is set in Rome, as you can tell by this helmet. So this is a scene where this person is taking an oath to the country, and these women look upset or sad, right? Probably he's giving his life to the country, and maybe it's not such a very happy scene, right? It's like he's running into his death trap or something. I don't know the full story. Maybe you can do some research on this. Here's a portrait of Charlotte Duval Donnier. Okay, by Marie Denise Villet. So, Neoclassicism is kind of a hybrid, I guess, between Baroque and Renaissance, and also it introduced some new its own visual elements. If you look at this figure, she's kind of lit up, right? She has this halo of light. It's as if she's a holy figure. Very, very, very light against a darker background. And the way she's wearing this, it's very Greco-Roman. I would say it reminds me of ancient Greek sculptures from the Hellenistic period, maybe. I don't know what she's doing here. Maybe she's writing something, maybe she's drawing something. Most likely she's writing. And the clothes that she's wearing, there's some figures back there too. The clothes that they're wearing as well, it reflects the fashion of that time. So, along with Jacques-Louis David, Marie Denise Villet were French. Next, we'll see this very recognizable sculpture. This is the Statue of Liberty. It's on Liberty Island in New Jersey. Technically New York, because Liberty Island is New York territory, but it's within New Jersey waters. And the Statue of Liberty was gifted to the US by the French, and it was created, it was fabricated, and it was shipped in segments. Here you can see these lines, right? These lines are welding lines. They were shipped in these little blocks on ships to Liberty Island, all the way from France, and then they were assembled on site. And this is just an enormous sculpture. Here's a person for scale, okay? And then just look at the size of this thing. Here's a staircase, and here's a door, okay? So this is enormous. It looks a little smaller, like when we see just photos, but if you look at this in person, it is absolutely gigantic. This building, which one is this? Which one is this? What building is this? I feel like a lot of people get confused. This is not the White House. This is the U.S. Capitol building. Originally, this building had just the middle and a smaller dome, and then it was reconstructed. This wing and this wing were added on, and then the dome was renovated to become bigger, and then it was renovated a second time to its current height. And that happened when the British were occupying, and it was kind of destroyed, so they rebuilt it, and they made it even bigger. And these two are examples of neoclassical sculpture and architecture as well. This is definitely neoclassical. And here's the White House. Okay, so both the White House and the U.S. Capitol building, they have columns, right? And these columns are Greco-Roman. So they take these from Greece, Greek influence, and it's called Neoclassicism because they bring back all the Greek and Roman elements, right? So These are, I think, Ionian columns. I wouldn't say they're Corinthian. Doesn't have any floral motifs. They're probably Ionian columns.